Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and welcome to a Men of War Assault Squad video. Actually, this is not my game that I've recorded. One of your fellow fans sent it in. Let me see if I can find his name. Wait, it'll probably show his name in the loading screen. Alright, so some awesome dude sent this in and asked if I would shoutcast it, and I will shoutcast it. So this should be a lot of fun. I myself have not yet played any Men of War games of note to record because the video game playing I've been doing has mostly been RPGs and shooters because it's been so long since I've played anything. I'm getting into The Witcher 2 and Battlefield 3 again. Alright, this guy... Shit, I don't know which one he is. Okay, gotta look him. Silent Hero, do not crash. Yeah, apparently his computer crashes sometimes, but this is one of those not crash times. I'm not watching the video right now. I'm looking to find his email from YouTube to find his name. Let's go back to the video real quick. Look, he's playing as the Germans, and it's a 3v3. This is Sniper Commando 4. Alright, so Sniper Commando 4, thank you so much for the video. I hope I will enjoy it as much as everybody else will enjoy it. And right off the bat, he's got probably a rifleman squad is what would come with the machine gunner, and he's spawned in the middle, so he's going to be trying to take that middle point. That's very good. Look at him setting up these sandbags right off the bat. He's not just capping his back point and then slowly moving forward. He knows that the most important thing... maybe he bought it... No, he bought a machine gunner separately. Or no, he didn't? I can't really tell. He knows that it's very important to get up and get aggressive as soon as possible. So these sandbags are going to be super helpful. There's not a lot in the early game, of course, that can fight your sandbags. Oh, this is funny. He didn't leave... any infantry back to cap the back point. That's kind of interesting. Let's watch how this engagement goes down between these infantry. I love how I got those two guys behind that house. It's slightly better, I think, to spawn on this side because you just get more cover going into the center. These houses and stuff in the center give you a lot more cover. Those greenhouses the opponent's using, you see how ridiculously useless they are. They just fall apart immediately from small arms fire. So, I don't know. It's interesting that he sent every single one of his units up to the front, didn't even leave one person in the back to cap it, and because of that the enemy has already gotten 1 point out of 100, and that might not seem like a big deal, and it probably isn't a big deal, but it's something to think about. He did win this engagement, though, in the first place. He just got here faster than the opponent and set up sandbags faster than the opponent, and once you really get your machine gun and your rifleman firing, there's not a lot they can do. The infantry engagements are pretty fast and brutal, so if you find yourself in a position like this, your opponent is set up, and you don't think you can bust through, you gotta make a judgment call real fast. You gotta think, can I bust through it? Because sometimes if you just sprint up, you can just get lucky because they're not all there and you can just start shooting them, but typically you're just gonna get cut down if you try that. So if you see that, you should pull back and think about flanking or something like that, or just buy something heavier, because it's no use throwing your infantry into the meat grinder if they're just going to get themselves killed. What you should do is sort of try some sort of special tactics, stuff like this. You see our intrepid player is crawling his squad leader Leon Muller forward, and you can throw grenades a pretty far distance, and if you cook them correctly... Ooh, he cooked it a bit too long and it burst in the air. That's funny, you rarely see that. If you get good at cooking... he just forgot to cap the back. If you get good at cooking grenades, there's basically nothing your opponent can do, because they'll just explode right on top of them. So, what's going on? He's transferring some machine gun ammo? No, I don't know what he was doing. Oh, transferring the sandbag stuff. But, yeah, I guess riflemen come with machine gun ammo. I didn't know that until recently. And so you can refill your machine gun, which is pretty important. I would recommend doing that right off the bat, ASAP. The more ammo your machine gunner has, the less likely he is to run dry in a critical engagement. So your machine gunner is really the backbone of your infantry fighting force, and that's going to hold up basically the entire game as long as you can keep them safe, because there's very little that infantry can do against a machine gun if the machine gunner sees them. It's just he shoots them. That's how it works. So great job by our player, Sniper Commando 4 or 5. There seem to be multiple Sniper Commandos, and I guess they're friends or something. The one great thing he's doing is just spreading out his infantry and probing in a bunch of different places, or I guess this probe... How the fuck is that guy alive? Jesus Christ, he must be wearing a magical protective amulet or something, because he lasted quite a while. Uh-oh, here comes a Greyhound. So we do have a AT infantry squad called up. They come with a Panzerschreck, which is a pretty nice anti-tank thing that those shaped charges really blow through armor, but you do of course have to get close enough, and if they're moving really fast, you have a pretty good chance of missing. when you shoot, because it's a fairly slow-moving rocket. It goes like pew! And so often a better idea for taking out these really light tanks is an AT rifle, which is what his ally appears to have bought. And that can punch through that light armor and do some good damage too. Unfortunately, can't knock out the track because it doesn't have a track. I guess you can probably knock off a wheel, but that seems to be harder than knocking off a track. I'm not sure I agree with him moving up this AT infantry. He's trying to get a lucky shot on that Greyhound, but he's just too close. So now I have to direct control him, get him in some safe little hedges. Sniper Commando 4, Sniper Commando 5. Yeah, those are so far the only thing I don't like about this guy's his name. I mean, Sniper Commando 4, come on. Surely you can think of something more original. So here we have a sniper. This guy knows everything about infantry engagements. You got a bunch of enemies holed up like this, and they're at a long distance. You really don't want to take the time to bust that nut. You can just bring in the sniper, and he'll pick them off slowly, one by one, and force your opponent to get proactive on you and start moving in. Of course, the opponent is sort of moving in with this Stuart on the right, so we'll have to see what happens there if his ally is able to halt its advance or something. Looks like we just had some paratroopers and AT support infantry killed by his ally, or from his ally. So I love Patrick Waldschmidt, this rifleman's name. Look how this guy's just always sending infantry into enemy lines. He's not just sitting back and defending. He keeps sending people forward, sprinting from bush to bush, waiting for his stamina to recharge a bit, waiting to see if the coast is clear, and the opponent's so busy trying to attack the middle that he doesn't have anyone in the back. So this guy, Patrick Waldschmidt's able to sprint forward and start decapping the point, and every little bit helps. A-team, our heroes are up to 7 points already, and they're going to be up even higher compared to the opponent now that they've decapped this point. I'm actually not sure if decapping that point changes how fast your own points tick up. Maybe you have to actually own it. But at the very least, it's definitely give the opponent something to think about. He's going to have to retask his own units to take that point back, and he's going to have to worry how many units are behind my lines, blah 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 blah. And we do have a Puma from our from one of the allies driving forward. That should handle the Greyhound no problem. The Greyhound can punch through the Puma with some good shots, but typically the Puma's going to win that fight no problem. Number one, the Puma has some good sloping armor on the front, fairly good armor in general, so things are more likely to bounce off of it. Also, the turret's shaped pretty well. Looks like a Panzer III died somewhere. And second, most importantly, the Puma's got a great big gun, a very nice gun on the Puma. Here we see some grenade cooking action, and turns out there was no one there. But it's always good to do that, and in fact he ended up spotting for his infantry when other people shot at him, so that's good. Should maybe think about getting this Panzerschreck guy out of there. He's in trouble. So unfortunately the enemies have pushed forward to... Oh, I see why he thought there were people there. That point's being decapped, so I don't know where the enemy infantry are. They must be to the right of the house by that valve. That giant fucking valve. What is shooting the Puma? What is going on? Oh, Stuart? No. I don't know. It must be artillery. That looked like artillery, so... Now he guesses, yep, there must be infantry over there, so he's angling to get a good grenade shot. Careful when you're cooking grenades, like, holy shit, that was close. You gotta throw that grenade away. If you're cooking your grenades, make sure you've got them aimed first. Otherwise, it's, you know, slightly glitchy, it's not glitchy, it's just a little tough to aim in direct control while you're moving. So if you don't have your grenade aim ready and you end up cooking it and you have to move, it's like, that's some bad stuff. So this hero infantry managed to decap the middle. I'm not sure how, because there's 3 of our players' infantry in there and only 1 of them, but that's done now. So A-team up to 9 points, B-team down to 3, and this Stuart is just wrecking face. Taking out infantry, because that's what Stuarts do. He might have to pay for his insolence, because he's gotten pretty close down. Oh, and dodges that AT grenade. Nice. So keep it moving, and you should be safe from AT grenades. You won't be safe from anti-tank rocket launchers. Oh, this might be good. This might be good. Check this out. Check this out. Yeah, boom, motherfucker. So that's why it's good to have AT just hiding in a bush. I told him that he should pull it back, but I guess that was a good place for it. I was just worried about losing it. So there's a massive fuck-off AT gun, maybe even artillery, hanging there, and he knows about all of this. Even he knows about this airborne squad, because he's got this one little rifleman hanging back, and that's the power of always having people pushing forward and always having people hidden in bushes. He just knows so much about what the opponent's doing that he's able to counter it if he wants to. He's able to prepare for it if he wants to. He just knows, and all it takes is a rifleman, right? Just send a rifleman forward. You don't have to buy a scout. You don't have to buy fancy things. Just send a dude. This guy doesn't. He's probably gonna throw a grenade on this thing. Watch it. Oh, whoa, whoa, uh-oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, well, he had the grenade selected, so he's throwing it at that guy, and that guy's fucked. Run, little man. No, don't dive, you're an idiot. Yeah, the diving AI in this game is sort of an instinctual thing, which is probably how it worked in real life. You see the grenade, and you're just like, dive, motherfucker! Boom! Hit the dirt. And 99% of the time that's a bad idea, because diving is so much slower than just running. The only time it's ever going to help you is if artillery's coming in and you dive behind a sandbag or something. And I don't even think they dive for artillery. They just dive for grenades. It's pretty stupid. It looks cool though. It's probably realistic. I don't know. Yes, take those grenades, and now he's gonna try and ninja this artillery, which is unfortunately moved forward quite a bit. But if he pulls this off, Patrick Waldschmidt's gonna be the hero of the Reich. Here he comes. That's an AT grenade, I think, with some new art from the new patch, I guess. And bam, motherfucker, AT grenade! And now he tries to crew it, because that's all he can do. You should think in that situation, maybe hitting another AT grenade or something, but it's tough to sort of kill those guns. First one's usually only gonna empty the gun out. So, nice job by the opponents probing forward with these infantry. They're not just sitting on their laurels. They've been assaulting the entire time, and admittedly this is a hard nut to crack. These infantry behind sandbags, it's tough to move in on them. And it looks like, yep, Sniper Commando buying a heavy machine gun. That's going to be add quite a bit of fire to his defensive line. So one thing you can do when you're sort of sitting pretty like this is to start helping out your ally. And in fact, he read my mind and he started buying this scout vehicle. Especially when the enemies are pushing forward and they're getting on your flanks, and you don't want to be flanked. So you start thinking, maybe I should help out my ally. And it's nice to buy things that will help yourself too. So like you can buy some infantry to help out your ally and send them over there, but if you buy something fast like a scout car or a tank or something, then you can send it over to help kill some people, and then you can retarget it, so it doesn't have to sit over there the entire time. Meanwhile, if you buy like an AT gun or something and you send it all the way over to the right, then you're never going to really be able to move it back to the middle unless you take too long. So if you do end up buying something slow, you can sort of send it between you and your ally, sort of down the middle. Sort of get the best of both worlds, and that's nice, not just because you're helping out your ally and you can use it for yourself, but because it's gonna catch two sets of enemies too, because often they're gonna try and push in through sort of the extremes, like the left or the right of wherever your ally is sitting, or the left or the right wherever you're sitting. So if you put your AT gun sort of between yourself and your ally, that's gonna be directly where they're gonna be coming through. So it depends on the map, because obviously you can tell where people are coming off and by the map and stuff, but like these two roads sort of match up with the lines between the two allies, so if you target stuff down them, it's like doubly certain that you're going to see things like this M8 come down the road, and then you can shoot it with the Puma. I don't know why that M8 was doing that, but good job there. Getting shot. So yeah, this is pretty good game so far. Really hard fighting on the right. Great job by the enemies. They managed to push it such that they have 11 points and our heroes have 9. So that's great job by that Stuart, mostly is what he did. It's tough work keeping the Stuart alive. You can't just drive it in and shoot all the enemy infantry. Anyone who has ever tried to use a tank like that in Men of War knows. And in fact, we saw the Stuart on the left in the road just get itself owned driving up past the hidden AT guy in the bush. Sometimes stuff just blows up, right? You got to be really careful with it. So if you can keep your Stuart alive and dive around and duck and dodge and weave and dive the enemy infantry, then it's a big coup. That's a big deal. Get some good kills, and that's nice because if you're really microing your tank, you're spending a lot of time keeping your Stuart alive and stuff. Then you can just sort of tell your infantry to like waltz on in and take the point, and while you're microing the tank, the thing is, if the enemy stops to fight your infantry with their infantry or whatever, that's just going to make it easier for your tank to kill them. Like, you're going to be able, wow, that grenade had a funny bounce. Your tank, when they shoot at your infantry, your tank is going to see them. Your infantry, you're just going to see them, right? Because they're shooting at your infantry, and then you can tell your tank to go kill them. Boom, nice cooking of the grenade. So then you can tell your tank to go kill them. If they don't, if they ignore your infantry and they keep trying to fight your tank, or they keep trying to run from your tank or whatever, then your infantry just waltz on in and take the point or something. So if you send one of these sort of like hero Stuarts to drive around and blow stuff up, just at the same time, well, maybe not at the same time, because you don't know if he's just going to get his butt kicked immediately when he gets there. But once you realize the Stuart is not going to get like instantly vaporized, just buy a squad of infantry and tell them to move in, because it's going to take them a while to get there if you're fighting opponents with the Stuart in behind the enemy lines and stuff, it's going to take them a while to get there. And so just send them in, and they'll show up eventually, and then the opponent's going to have to choose who to fight, and what kind of units to buy, and what kind of units to send. So it looks like we've got a Martyr shooting all sorts of stuff. What's shooting at the Martyr? Is the AT gun shooting at the Martyr? Is that a Martyr? That's a Martyr. I think that's new. That's a Martyr 3, right? I don't know. On a Panzer 3 chassis. Everything was on fucking Panzer 3 chassis back then. Panzer 4 chassis. They had a lot of those sitting around, but not a lot of stuff to go on top, I guess. Or maybe it's more expensive. I don't know. What is that? That's an AT gun, a Sherman. A lot of fighting going on. And still not a lot of progress on the right, although they do have the 3 points sort of in the middle, so... Oh! That would be nice, yeah. He points out to his ally, there's a half-track full of people. Hit that! Hit that with your gun. So it's funny, we're going to have to see how this game turns out. Germans have some really good late-game stuff, right? The Panzer IV outmatches the Sherman. And, I mean, the German AT guns aren't quite as good, but the tank battles, you're going to be looking pretty. So, and also the German elite infantry, you know, Fallschirmjägers and Sturmtroopers, they were really good too. So, nothing really to worry about when it gets on. And German has some nice rocket artillery and some nice artillery in general. Want to push left? So Germans don't have to worry about the game going on long. They got plenty of toys to play with, and of course the Tiger and the King Tiger. If you want to spend a lot of money on stuff. Let's see. So again, probing forward, this is a pretty good match. This sort of, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this map. Some of the building placement is kind of weird, and I don't like the lakes. Water is just not as much fun for me to fight over in Men of War as other stuff. So that island on the left is kind of weird, but it's a pretty good map, and it does devolve into sort of frontline, backline sort of stuff. So it's good to see how players tend to manage this sort of stuff, because good players are not going to get complacent in the back lines. They're going to be careful, and they're going to have at least a few defenses set up to stop something like this. Enemy infantry just running in. This guy's doing pretty well just running in with a couple of riflemen, which are like the weakest people, unless you have a... Oh, they're paratroopers, actually. They're better than nothing. But, sets up the machine gun. So if he had had just one guy with a sandbag and a machine gun or a rifle on that point, the enemy, he would have had some sort of defense which would have spotted those paratroopers running up, and it would have maybe even killed the paratroopers running up. But as it stands, his machine gun got decrewed, he had to buy some more stuff, he had to move some more units up, so be ready for what your opponent's going to send into you. And on the opposite note, send stuff in. Send stuff in to the opponents. Oh, what's this, artillery? Someone shot flare gun? I don't know, what's that smoke? I'm waiting for something to happen. Waiting. Oh, it's artillery. And it doesn't kill anything? Makes the game slow down because artillery, right? It's got to do a lot of physics calculations. This is a very physics-intense game. Oh, look, that's a tiger. We're going to see a tiger. Roar. So that's good. United States seems content to sit back and blow stuff up. Interesting how well that worked versus a Martyr. I guess a Martyr is looking to get side hits, or to at least not get shot when it's shooting, because the Martyr's armor is shit. So against an AT gun, it's certainly a very, very bad choice. And even against enemy tanks, you don't want to get shot back. And there's that horrible M19. Everybody hates the M19 because it's just a beast. It's an anti-air tank, but or anti-air vehicle, but everybody uses it for shredding infantry, because you can't use it for anti-air because there's no airplanes in Assault Squad. There actually are airplanes if you go into the... Why is that half-track? Well, I guess he got the people out of it. So there are airplanes if you go into the game editor. There's airplanes, and also in some single-player missions, there's just airplanes hanging out on the airfields, and you can get into them, and you can throttle up, and you can drive forward, and you can actually fly. You can fly the airplanes. It's extremely hard and extremely fiddly in direct control. But you can fly an airplane in Assault Squad. How long you're able to keep alive is sort of up in the air. I made a joke, but you can do it, so you can try that out, but obviously not in multiplayer. These maps are much too small for airplanes to be anything but occasional airstrikes or something. It'd be cool if you could order those in, but honestly this game does not need more artillery or any sort of off-map stuff. That would just complicate things and add more explosions when we don't need more explosions. Speaking of explosions, we don't need that. Tractor got fucked. And that AT gun got fucked. And whatever got his track damage, that thing's probably gonna get fucked by the Tiger. Nothing can stop the Tiger. Whoa, what is that tank over there? That thing on the right. I want to see it. Is it a Sherman? We'll see it later. Oh, maybe it's a Lee. It had a weird looking silhouette, so I thought it was some sort of crazy tank, but it might just be the Lee, which has the weirdest fucking... Yeah, that's, I think, a Lee. I have a video about the Lee if you go way far back in my archives. I think it's called Weird Tank or something, because it's a weird tank. Look at that thing. You can barely see it, and already you can tell it's weird. Look at that profile. It's like a tank in a tank, and then there's that thing on top of the tank, but it's dead. No more Lee. So that's what happens when you expose your side armor to a Tiger when you're a light tank. That Lee is a light tank. Couldn't take a Tiger from behind, probably. Maybe if you got lucky enough, it was close enough. But, so, wow, Stug managed to take out that tank, so now the Tiger's looking really sitting pretty. Boom, suck on that, and this Tiger might turn things around for these guys. Now it's 18 points to 19 points, pretty even. And, he realizes that his Tiger's doing pretty well, and nice shot! Takes out the Sherman with a 76mm cannon. Those are expensive Shermans. Expensive. What does the W stand for on the Sherman? 76W. I can look that up. Internet, thank you. Sherman's 76W. Back to the video. What's going on? Waiting for server. Nothing interesting. Wikipedia. 76W. 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 Okay, it doesn't say what the W stands for. Am I missing important? Here, I'll move Wikipedia to my other monitor. I have 2 monitors. That's fucking the future. Oh, wet ammunition storage. Well, safer ammunition storage, nicknamed wet. Okay, so that's what 76W stands for. Clearly did not help this Sherman in this case, because that thing got blown sky high. But, and I'm sure that's modeled in the game. I don't know. So, still, opponent's doing a great job pushing. What is that? The tank hunter? Opponent's still doing a great job pushing on the right. Some sort of allied vehicle penetrated far to the left if you look on your minimap, but then it got itself knocked out. So that looks like it is a tank hunter, either a Hellcat or a M10 tank destroyer. Hellcat's an M18. Looks like an M10. I would not advise going toe-to-toe with a Sherman like that. It's an M18. Yeah, don't use tank destroyers like that. The tank destroyers are for destroying tanks. They're not for fighting tanks. They're only good at blowing them up. They're not good at getting blown up. Well, they're very good at getting blown up by them. Their armor's just bad. They're open on top. Heck, you can blow it up with a grenade. I mean, you can't blow it up with a grenade. You have to get an AT grenade there. But they just have thin armor. You don't drive them at the front. You gotta get flanking hits or something. They have more speed than tanks. They've got speed, so you can use that to your advantage. But that's it. And like I said, late game, the Germans start to look pretty good because their tanks are pretty good, and the Allies don't really have anything heavier than Shermans. Honestly, Shermans just don't have the armor. You gotta either use your numbers, use your flanks, use your AT guns, especially. The Allies have some really nice AT guns, and those can go toe-to-toe to tanks, because it's just slightly harder to hit them, and even if you do hit them, if it's an armor-piercing shell, it'll often go through, and if it's a HE shell, it'll often just kill the crew, or stun the crew even, and it won't really kill the gun. So they're just so cost effective is the most important thing. The AT gun, if you go toe to toe with a tank and you lose, it's like, oh well, fuck it. But with the Sherman, you go toe to toe with a tank, you lose. It's like, my Sherman. And so yeah, if you're United States or something, and the Germans are throwing these heavy tanks at you, just don't drive by tank destroyers and Shermans and go to the front. Like a lucky hit from a Sherman, maybe it'll knock it out. Lucky hit from a tank destroyer, maybe it'll knock it out. What's much more likely is that you're going to get knocked out. They're going to shoot you. So, admittedly, this is a bit of a tough map for that. It's hard to go around to the left or to the right. But what you want to do is you really want to punch through on the right or on the left. Like, you look, and that's exactly what the Allies are doing. They punch through on the right. And they could have sent sort of all their Shermans and stuff. What is going on there. There goes the Stug. So if they had reconcentrated all their tank firepower there, imagine how much they would have blown through. They would have just fucking killed everything. And if it instead of being the Lee over there, it had been like 2 Shermans over there. So Sherman 76W and that other Sherman that got killed. So if those were over there, they totally would have punched through. This guy would have been crippled, and then you can get some side hits on the Tiger. Maybe kill it, or at least make the Tiger turn to the right to fight you, and then you can get side hits from the front with your AT guns that you've got set up in the middle. Something like that. It's just important to know what fights you want to pick, and you don't want to pick the kind of... Oh, there goes the Hellcat. You don't want to pick the kind of fights that are straight up fights. And look, like I told you, paper thin armor, fucking Panzer III killed the Hellcat. So, that's good. But the opponent's still very much in this game. They still have 4 points to the 3 points, and the score is looking 25 to 23 right now, so it's still anybody's match. And it's just a matter of finding something that will work against the German forces. And shit getting owned, said Sniper Commando 5. I don't know about that. Uh-oh. What is that, a Stuart? Yeah, it's a Stuart. Plucky little Stuart taking out the Panzer III. Lost his track though, so now that's the end of the Stuart. Great place to lose your track. Got a perfect shot in on the Panzer III. And now it's dead. He was gonna say get in. Yep, that's good stuff. If your tank, especially with the lighter armored tanks, often the crew will get, if they're shooting with AP rounds, the crew will get shot through, and all the crew will die, but the hull will be undamaged. So then you can just hop on in with a fresh set of people, swipe all the bloody guts away, and brand new tank. Don't let your opponent do that. Don't let your opponent take your tank. That would be bad. Very bad. Another TD coming. TD? I bet it stands for Tank Destroyer. Let's find out. What else could it stand for? Tiger Dancer. Tiger, in this case, would be the cat, not the tank. Tasty dates. Dates are good fruit. They're expensive. I don't. Fruit is generally expensive when it's dried because they can sell it by the pound. But when you dry the fruit, you take all the water out. So like. Then each pound gets you a lot of fruit. I like raisins and dates. Generally, dried fruit's pretty awesome. That's a long shot. There's a lot of stuff in between this Tiger and whatever that is. I think it's a Sherman. Wait until the crosshair turns green. Oh, nope, just kidding. You can shoot through whatever is in the middle. So this is a very dangerous probe by the Sherman. If he hasn't noticed the Tiger shooting at him yet, he'll certainly know now. Now won't he? And there's no reason for that Sherman to stick around, because with the main gun damaged, it's dead. It's dead. We need more concentrated firepower. Push through in one... Whoa, there goes the middle. Push through in one fell swoop. Put all your eggs in a basket, and then put a grenade in the basket with the eggs, and then give it to your opponent and say, I brought you eggs, but there's a grenade in the eggs, and then it blows up and your opponent dies. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be taking all your eggs and spreading them around on some sort of omelet and then trying to make a grenade omelet, because when you try and cook the omelet, the grenade's going to blow up in your face, right? That's exactly how it works, and a bunch of Marines just died. I don't know how that happens, but it's pretty much par for the course for Marines these days. And, so now the opponent's close to getting 5 of the control points. I don't know how they're doing this in the middle. That's just a funny building. I'm surprised it hasn't been leveled yet. What the opponent should be doing is leveling that building. That building should be destroyed, because then they'll have sort of wide open... Well, no. I don't know. It's hard. It would let the opponent shoot basically onto the middle point from anywhere on the map on their side, because it's just wide open to there. But the player that we're watching, he's got his house just south of the middle point, which would block line of sight. So he wouldn't be able to fire on the middle without maneuvering around the house. Obviously he can do it in this big wide corridor on the left, but still he'd be a bit blocked off. Whereas the opponent could shoot anything in the middle from anywhere at any time. So, I don't know. What would happen if that house were leveled? It would be even harder for the opponent to... Well, it'd be just as hard for the opponent to approach them. Well, no. Okay, it would be better for someone if that house were dead, clearly. I think it would be better for our player. No, I've changed my mind. It would be better for Sniper Commando if he would blow up that house in the middle, because then the opponent would have nowhere to hide on the middle point. He would have nowhere to hide going up to the middle point. It would just be a continual field of death trying to get to the middle point. Sniper Commando, meanwhile, has this house just south of the middle point, so he can sneak up behind that house all he wants, and then when it's time to take the middle, he has to sprint out behind the house, blah blah blah, and he's gonna get shot to shit. But, once he at least has the point, once he owns the point and the opponent has to take it back, it's on the opponent to do the work, then he should think about leveling that house, because he would have quite good visibility on that middle point. Maybe he could leave the smokestack intact. But his Tiger's gun is broken, so he's got to pull out, and he's only got 3 men left in the Tiger, so he should think about sticking some tank crewmen into that thing. He's turned his water graphics up fairly high. We can see some reflections. I can turn my water graphics up pretty high, but I can't turn them to maximum, I found. Even with my fucking amazing video card, the 560 Ti, if I turn the water graphics up to max, I get a lower frame rate. I think maybe that's a CPU thing. Maybe it's just Men of War is not the best engine. It's hard to optimize, so many things going on. That's okay, it still looks fairly good. And nobody cares about graphics. And if you do care about graphics, then join the club, because plenty of people do. But I don't. Doesn't matter. Main gun on my Tiger is down. Why is that in the Russian accent? Should be German. Ach, the main gun on mine Tiger is blown up and that's some of the lag we have all come to know and love in the online realm that we play. Lag. So, while we're waiting, we can contemplate this burning barrel. Was that barrel burning when the game started, or has something set it alight? Is the sniper still alive? Yes, his sniper is still alive. Lawrence Lederer is that sniper's name. Oh, forgot to repair his Tiger. Lawrence Lederer has been around the entire game, killing God knows how many people. And I'm sure that's helped him maintain holds on the middle that he wouldn't already have. And what does the points look like? 32 to 37. These opponents are just really scrappy. No matter how many times they get beaten back, they've managed to cap so many points so many times that they're at 37 points versus their allies 32. So it just goes to show the middle is not like the linchpin of this map. They've been contesting the middle. The enemies have been contesting the middle all the time. But a lot of the work they've been doing has been punching through on the right. So too many people, I think, on this map fall into the I'm just going to fight on my side sort of thing, or I'm going to fight on my side in the sense of people to the middle thing. But often the most important, man, Yog Panther, the most important thing, the most important fight going on, the most important place to push through might not be the middle, and it might not be your side. It might be the other edge of the map. So sometimes you can win by fighting that other edge of the map. The opponent keeps this up, they're going to have more points than our allies, than our heroes do, and then they're gonna win. So think about it. Man, that may come repaired fairly quickly. Is it raining on this match? Yeah, it's raining. So that's good. I like the dynamic weather in Men of War. That's pretty cool. Not a lot of games do that. Oh, here comes this house. It's going down, and surprisingly, debris does not kill anyone. Normally in this game, debris is the kiss of death. Your head gets touched by something, it's like Battlefield 3, you just instantly die. You stub your toe on a piece of rock and kaboom, that's it. Oh, that's painful. Tiger's just gonna blow the shit out of everything. Gotta love that. Gotta wait for the server. This is one of the reasons I haven't been playing as much Men of War. It's because, like, a lot of the people who play this are like Europeans and stuff, because they like these games, unlike Americans who are just fantastic idiots who can't play anything more complicated than, like, I don't know, what's a very simple game? Can't play anything more complicated than baseball? I don't know. Baseball's not exactly. Anyways, American gamers don't really. Whoa, a bunch of fucking Folkstorm got themselves killed by a bar. Generally in America, the complex games not as popular. The simpler, the better. And meanwhile, in Europe, they're playing like DCS, Black Shark, helicopter simulator thing in their sleep, and Stalker, and all these like very complicated games, including Men of War, with all this detail, and you get sucked into the world, and there's like you can fiddle with everything. It's pretty awesome. So Eastern Europe likes that. Unfortunately, that means the ping times usually suck whenever I go to play. Like the best pinging server will be like 200 or something, which is not awful for a real-time strategy game, but like that'll be the best, right? And they'll be playing combat, which is stupid. So that's unfortunate. It's it'd be nice. The problem with Men of War is that the community is just not that huge, because the thing that makes this game so awesome, all the detail and all the things that you can do mean that it limits its reach. Not everybody likes this sort of game. Sometimes it's like, I just want to memorize my StarCraft build order, and that's all it takes. Not like StarCraft is simple, but it's like, you know, some things are more like sports and some things are more like simulations. StarCraft is like, this is a sport. Company Heroes is sort of, this is a sport. Here's your units, here's how much manpower they cost, here's much resources, whatever, crystals. You mine your stuff, you build your thing, you win. And Men of War, meanwhile, is like, here's 1,000 fucking buildings and 1,000 fucking units, and anything can blow up, and everybody's got an inventory, and everybody's got a name, and you can do like 18 different things with a rifleman. And it's like, well, I don't even know where to begin, right? Like, who knows how a battle's gonna play out? Who knows what sort of crazy stuff's gonna happen? Is that shell gonna penetrate? Like, I don't know. I have a chance of penetrating, but maybe it'll glance off. Maybe it'll just hit a building and collapse the wall, and maybe the wall's gonna, I don't know, that main gun is damaged. That thing is in trouble. Will it get away from the tiger? Is it going to escape? One more shot. Ooh, AP shell goes slightly high. Too bad. Tech Destroyer gets away. Turned tail and ran. So I think maybe in my previous video, Tiger Burning Bright or something like that, I said, like, never turn your tank around to run away. There's an exception to that rule, and that's for tank destroyers, because the tank destroyer armor is so weak that sometimes, especially at long distances, it's not going to matter so much whether your opponent penetrates your front armor or your back armor. Like, either way, if the AP shell hits, it's going to kill you. So except for the danger of exposing your engine, there's not a huge problem with turning tail and running in a tank destroyer. So it can make sense in certain cases to turn your tank destroyer around to run for the speed boost, but typically it's still going to be better to back your tank destroyer up, and typically it's going to be better in that case to micromanage your tank destroyer so that it does back up. And of course, if you want a tank to back up out of a fight without turning its tail and running, you tell it to just back up not very far. If you tell it to back up like all the way behind your lines, it's going to go like okie dokie, and it's going to turn around and drive away, and that's bad. So what you want to do is you want to tell it like back up like 30 feet behind you or something, then it'll back up. And of course, if that's not enough, if you want to keep going past 30 feet, you can either tell it again when it finishes, or more importantly, just shift click, right? Hold shift to queue up orders. And here we go. Brandenburger has his Panzerfaust. Oh, he's stopping in the middle of the street, and inexplicably that's okay. He's too far away for this guy with the submachine gun to hit. Oh no, he sees the Sherman. The Sherman's backing up here. Fight, making damage, turret damage. Boom! Panzerfaust doesn't do anything. Actually kills the tank crewman. Oh no, actually knocked out the hull. So that's good. Hero Brandenburger. That's good. Always have one of those around. Uh-oh, main gun damage for the tiger. Time to back up. So he wants to get his tiger behind some of these buildings, and also he wants to get it down into the lake, because being in the lake will put him hull down. Actually, hull down is a tank fighting term, which means the only part of your tank that's showing to the enemy is the very tip top, basically where your gun is, so that you can shoot your gun, but keep your body protected. And so that's always the best place to fight from, but sometimes you can't obviously find a hold down position. So if you need to retreat somewhere though, and you can't stay fully hidden, then hold downs. Pretty good. So what's the points look like? 54 for our allies, 37 for our enemies, but the enemies are playing as the allies. But by allies I mean the people allied with us, and by allies I mean the United States and the United Kingdom and all those other people fighting for freedom and pie and stuff and whatever it is the allies were fighting for. And Pershing is on the field on the right. The Pershing saw very little combat in World War II, but I believe it did fight a tiger at least once. I think there's even footage somewhere of a Pershing fighting a tiger. So this is what I'm trying to say is this battle as you're watching is exactly how it happened in real life. And in fact, if you go on Wikipedia, you can read about the famous United States General Sniper Commando 4, who uttered the famous words, "I got arty," only seconds before pushing through a key location in Bastogne or something, I don't know. But yes, that definitely happened, and if you don't believe me, check out this Wikipedia article I'm about to edit on my computer. Today's featured article is Killer 7. It's an action-adventure video game for the Nintendo GameCube and PlayStation 2. Okay, back to Men of War. So this has been a pretty straightforward battle. Not a lot of crazy stuff going on. Chaos Banana Man is one of the opponent's names. That's not very straightforward. That's pretty chaotic. Chaos is probably some sort of clan. You can tell they're hardcore because they spell chaos with a K, and you have to be pretty badass to spell chaos with a K. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If you see someone who spells chaos with a K, don't fuck with them. They will fuck you up. You spell someone spells chaos with a CH, they're a pussy, basically, right? Like, you don't even have to give them the time of day, just fuck off. They spell chaos with a K, you are fucked. Don't get them angry, don't even, like, get the fuck out of there. Chaos with a K, they mean it. For serious. For realsies, guys. Ludwig Gruen is the paratrooper's name. And this tiger has taken quite a few hits, but it keeps on ticking. And why is this Sherman fighting the tiger from the front? Wow, that was a weird piece of debris that just fell from the sky. Honestly, you're very rarely going to take out... Well, you're rarely... Somewhere between rarely and very rarely are you going to take out a tiger from the front, even with a 76W Sherman with that 76mm gun. Generally, what's going to happen is this: your Sherman gets knocked out. All right, are you listening, Internet? The Sherman cannot fight the tiger from the front. You can fight the tiger from the side. You can definitely fight the tiger from the back. You can't fight the tiger from the front. But luckily, you're faster than the tiger. Of course, that doesn't matter quite a bit because the tiger's turret can turn, so it can just shoot you. That's the wonder of tanks. But, you know, if that Sherman, those two Shermans had been over here on the right with this Pershing, maybe they could punch through, and then, holy shit, then you'd have a Pershing and two Shermans on the side of the tiger. So definitely the tiger would have to turn to face the Pershing and the Shermans, right? So then you can send, you know, you only send one of the Shermans over to the right, and you send one in the middle. Then you can get some side shots on the tiger with the Sherman or something. You should always be trying to get your opponent to reposition. Try to get your opponent from the side. Try to get your opponent from behind. And if you can't do it by pushing in to the side, then, well, you're fucked. But often you can get it from pushing into the side, and they'll turn to face you, so then you're fighting the front again, but you have somebody in the middle. Then you can hit them from the side. So that's tank warfare at the basics. And in fact, that's how they did in real life, too. They just fucking made more Shermans than the opponent had tigers, and more Shermans than the opponent had tanks, and they just drove them around and to the side. And of course, if your job was to be like the bait, you were not happy, but that's how it worked. You know, you can't punch through the front. You can sometimes in Monday More, but it's just not worth it often. Don't try it. You're gonna get your shit pushed in. So, I like how these people are playing. Mostly I like how the guy on the right is playing. The guy in the middle at least seems too willing to fight from the front. And like I said earlier, if you want to fight from the front, like, I'm not saying it's the end of the world if you fight from the front, but if you want to do that, don't do it with Shermans. Do it with AT guns. Buy an M5 AT gun if you want to fight from the front, because it's just better in basically every way. If you're not going to use the tank's mobility, if you're not going to use the ability of a tank to rotate its turret, if you're not going to use the ability of a tank to drive around on its tracks, then you don't need a tank. You only need an AT gun. If you're just going to stick it in the front of the enemy tank and shoot shells until you get blown up, all you need to do is buy an AT gun, because an AT gun can do that just as well as a tank. It's got the same fucking gun as a tank. You can buy a 76mm AT gun and it's going to shoot just as well as a tank. It's the game uses the exact same modeling for it. They're trying to share their truck. That sounds suspiciously like communism, my friends, trying to share a truck. You're supposed to be role-playing as a German Wehrmacht, not as the communists. I have nothing to take this person out. Oh, one of the opponents left the game. 66, 37 points. He just got frustrated. Who was in the center? Center was Chaos, what's his face, so... Div Umbra, I'm sure, must have been on the left. That guy's been having no luck the entire game. Has not once pushed through to the opponent's side, so he probably just got fed up and left. So now it's looking much better for the Germans, and we'll have to see if they can just hold it out and keep it together as this game wraps itself up. And I don't know what the Stewart thinks it's going to accomplish, but let me tell you, you're very lucky that the Tiger just missed you. Wow, knocked out the track. Bingo. Oh, that was brilliant! See, that's the shit I'm talking about. Use this Stewart as the bait. Send in the tank destroyer. That's not even a Sherman. That's a fucking Hellcat, right? It's faster. It's more maneuverable. It doesn't have the armor, but that's okay. It just drives fucking in. Runs over the artillery. This is brilliant. You see that? You gotta use your flanking power. You gotta use the ability to hit them on the side. And you gotta be smart about this. You don't just sit back with Shermans. You gotta be smart. So that was pretty sweet. I was going to get another tiger, but they would have said we spammed XD. I don't know. Spam tigers if you want. Tigers pretty awesome because they're named after a cat, and cats are pretty awesome. If you aren't aware that cats are awesome, then you should check YouTube. There's at least I searched YouTube for a cat video once and I found one, so there should be a video of a cat on YouTube if you want to find out whether they're any cool or not. Again, he's aiming while cooking the grenade. Did that work? Did he ricochet it? Wow, fantastic throw. Down to the wire, like pinged it off the the shallow bank off that wall, so that was pretty sweet. But the opponent's really redoubling their efforts to push through. Even after losing one of their teammates, they're pushing through in the middle, pushing through on the right. Took out the tiger with that sort of with that diversionary Stewart. That was good stuff, and they're really trying to push through. Here come the paratroopers, though. Doing a pretty good job trying to take the middle. But look, like I said, he probably should have leveled this building. Then they'd have nowhere to hide. I like the sound of the FG-42 in the game. I'm not sure if it sounds anything like that in real life. It's like crack, 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 but it's neat. So now we might see a Panther versus a Pershing fight. I'm not sure if this happened in real life, but the Panther's a good tank because it's also named after a cat. There's a Tiger named after a cat. The Panther is named after a cat. Is the Panzer IV named after a cat? I'm thinking probably not. It's a weirdly named cat if it is. So now this guy's demolishing the building. These paratroopers come chock full of AT grenades. I would hate to be a paratrooper. Looks like the Pershing one. Oh no, the M10 Wolverine. Wolverines! Knocked out the Panther engine, but sucks for the Wolverine. Got his own engine knocked out. Boom! Oh, well, stop shooting. I think all the people... Yeah, no, it's empty. Yes, exactly. That's yours now. That's yours. Oh, self-destruct initiated. Good move by the enemy. Yeah, self-destruct the fuck out of that shit. Can you do that when there's nobody in? I guess you can. Yeah. Hold. Oh, actually, you can self-destruct. You can initiate self-destruct when there's nobody in there, but I guess it doesn't work unless there's a guy around to actually do it. That's cool. What would be cooler if you couldn't initiate it? Oh, there goes Chaos Banana Man. So he's the chaotic Banana Man. He'll live forever in our hearts. So yeah, in the future, if it looks like your tank's gonna get knocked out, oh, the hotkey for self-destruct is double tap L. L for like life is no longer worth living. So double tap L, and then if you're lucky, your tank will eventually blow up. It'll be like in Star Trek. So you'll be good to go. So yeah, don't let stuff fall too many hands. So this is good. I enjoyed this fight quite a bit. Enemies are very spunky. Chaos Banana Man's AI units are doing much better than he ever did, simply by having the balls to push forward. You never know how beat up your enemy is until you simply attack move in their direction. Look at that fucking super heavy Pack 43. I think that's a new unit. I think this is a new unit. I think maybe the Mars is a new unit too. Sorry about my last video when I said I'm back. I was like, hey, they patched Man of War, here's a new unit, it's a Russian artillery piece, and everyone's like, that's been in the game since forever. Tycho, have you even ever played a Man of War? And the answer is no, I haven't played Man of War. I actually have a body double to play Man of War for me. I pay him, and then I pretend to be him. It's very difficult for you guys to ever know, because it's the internet. Man, this Pershing is in very big trouble. Track damage with the side facing towards this massive Pack 43. Pack 43 looks a little like Darth Vader. Slightly like Darth Vader. A lot like Darth Vader's early Japanese-inspired sort of thing, where he was more up for another round. There's only one of them left. Oh, maybe that's team chat. So, great fight. I really liked how much they pushed towards the right. He should be telling his Pack 43 to attack this tank, by the way. It won't auto-attack because there's a building in the way. The AI will not auto-attack if there's things blocking its line of sight. Even if it would easily shoot through, so you have to manually tell these people. But it looks like he's just going to try and AT grenade it. Engine damage. I wonder what hit that. Yeah, AT grenade not going to probably do it now that there's all this infantry here. Oh, it's on fire! It's on fire! Is it going to blow up? This is going to be very impressive. Very impressive if it explodes. I want to see this explosion. Hull destroyed. Oh, kaboom. Good stuff. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to Sniper Commando 5458 for for sending it in. I know your name is not Sniper Commando 5458, but honestly, once you start putting numbers at the end of your name, it's open season, right? So I don't know if I have much more to say. We learned how tanks work, and we learned that I'm going to edit Wikipedia to make Sniper Commando a United States general in the Battle of Bastogne, and I think we've all learned the importance of caring for your fellow human being, because without caring, what is the world going to come to? Unless they're foreigners. Fuck foreigners, right? You don't have to care about foreigners. Only care about people in your own country. And immigrants. Fuck immigrants. And tall people? Fuck them. Fat people too. Really, I'm not sure you should care about anybody other than, like, cats. I've changed my mind. What is that? A self-propelled mortar? I want another look at that thing. M12 gun motor carriage? Is that new? Fuck me if that's not new. That better be new. I think it's new. See you guys.